What up, Entourage? Welcome, everybody, to your favorite video of the week and probably the last week we'll be doing buy-sell holds because that trading deadline is about to be approaching here if it hasn't already. But we got to make sure we make it a good one. Let's go. The fantasy football Entourage are winning. Alrighty, so as usual, let's get a little house cleaning out the way. If we could get these likes up, because I'm getting a lot of views. I know sometimes you might like the video and just forget to hit like, but it's much appreciated. Also, if you're interested, premium content, so you get the full list of the buy sell holds, as well as my rankings, my waiver wire pickups, all of that. It's only $5 for the rest of the year. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a promo too. If you download Monkey Knife and if you put a deposit to bet, what Monkey Knife is, for those of you that don't know, I keep saying Monkey Knife like assuming everybody knows, it's basically betting on player props. So if this quarterback's going to get over 250 yards, stuff like that. So they have a unique way of doing it. And then not only that, but for your first deposit, I will give you I will help you. I will tell you which games to play so you could win some money, get the free premium content. It doesn't really cost you anything because the money that you're spending, you're going to play with. So some really cool stuff going on. But now, for the reason we're here, our buy sell holds. All right, beginning with DeAndre Swift. Yeah, DeAndre Swift times DeAndre Swift season. He's already like bumped up to running back number 13, which I don't know if that says more about him or today's running back climate. However, he looked really good. He looked really good. Something I was surprised coming from Detroit, who usually likes to use multiple backs. They should have been done this a long time ago. But I think this is what we can expect moving forward. I don't see him like a 20-plus carry running back, but something I preach, you don't have to be in today's NFL. Most people are not Josh Jacobs or CMC or Saquon, but look where they're at right now. Well, Josh Jacobs is fine, but he's also been banged up before in the past. So this is today's running back, and that's enough. If you're talented, if you're in the right offense, and then you're getting 5 targets a game as well, then good things are going to happen. And he has a beautiful schedule. His playoff schedules like Green Bay, Tennessee, and Tampa. Tampa's good against the run, but Swift's forte is as a pass catching back, and they're actually really bad against pass catching backs. So Tampa is not as daunting as a matchup as you would think. Plus, that's a game that'll probably feature a lot of points. So I love Swift moving forward, especially if Kenny Golladay comes back now too. This is a team that's contending for the playoffs, so they have a lot to play for. This could be this year's, or Swift could be this year's Miles Sanders. Okay, Miles Sanders, I think, finished at number 13 running back last year. So little coincidence there. Maybe not. All right, number 2 is Mike Davis. I'm beginning to become more and more weary that Christian McCaffrey returns. Why? Especially if they're not in the playoff hunt, they don't have anything to play for. Why risk your franchise running back that you gave this record-breaking contract to? So Mike Davis, when Christian McCaffrey, he was averaging like 80% snaps, getting like 6 or 7 targets. So that workload I expect to continue. He is a dual back. He's a very good runner with the football, and he's a very underrated pass catcher as well. And that's a team that likes to utilize the running back as a pass catcher. And we know he was the RB1 during the time he filled in for CMC, and he could be the RB1 the rest of the way if CMC is shelved, which I think is a very good possibility. So I definitely think you guys should go out and get Mike Davis. Last but not least, a.j.brown. Coming off a subpar game. Before that, he had 4 out of the last 5 games. He had 20 or more points. The targets were up, and his big playmaking ability was still up as well, which a lot of people thought he couldn't continue, but he's great with the yak, yards after catch. And if he didn't drop a gimme, he would have had 14 more points instead of the 2 points he had against the Colts. So I think a.j.brown could be had as a value coming off a subpar game. And he's one of those guys that's matchup proof. I'm not worried about him one bit. Talent over everything. go get a.j. Brown and thank me later. He is probably like the top 5 talent. Now for my sell list, we got Ben Roethlisberger coming off 2 big games. I think he had like 25 and 29 points, depending what your scoring system is like. But Ben Roethlisberger, we've seen this before. He is, inconsistent. And right now, remember, when it comes to sells, I like selling players at their all-time high. Is Ben Roethlisberger going to get any better than a top 10 quarterback? I believe he's number 9 right now. Probably not. So why not sell him at an all-time high, especially when you won't be able to play him in the championship game, or at least I wouldn't play him in the championship game because that's week 16 against the Colts. So, if there's ever a chance to get something of value, remember, it doesn't always have to be a 1-for-1 type of deal. You could use Ben and package him, with another player to better your lineup. So the package will look that much better when you could tell the person you're trading with that, hey, I'm also giving you a top 10 quarterback. And he's coming off 2 strong weeks. You can really pitch it like, hey, Pittsburgh's clicking on all cylinders. They got Juju, they got Claypool, they got Deontay. And unfortunately, they got also a matchup with Indianapolis in the championship game, but you don't tell them that. Also, like I said, also Ben is injury prone, so you never know when he could get injured. He's had a couple close scares already, so get rid of him. Second guy on my sell list is Gronkowski. So Gronkowski, another player coming off a good game, but the week before that, he had 1 point, And it's not every week that Tampa Bay is going to score like 46 points where they had against the Carolina Panthers. They got so many mouths to feed. Evans, Godwin, now AB looks like he's starting to heat up. And then you got the 2 running backs. Like, Gronk is going to be very, very touchdown or bust. Not only that, but he also hasn't had his bye yet. So you're also going to not be able to rely on him for one more game. So rather sell him coming off a good game, having a very underrated season. It's all about getting players at their high. Hopefully, whoever you're trading with doesn't realize he's got a bye. And that kind of rhyme. But, yeah. And sometimes you also got to find the right opponent. No, the right trade partner. Like certain players, you could only trade to winning teams. Certain players, you could only trade to losing teams, So you have to be able to acknowledge that. So, for instance, my next guy, Tyler Lockett, that one is that's a player I'd be moving on rather quickly. Obviously, he's slowed down. That's been Tyler Lockett's MO. He has these blow-up games and he, becomes invisible. Also has been his MO. He tends to, fall off at the end of seasons, especially he's kind of injury prone. Not like super injury prone, but in the sense that he's always like, even last year when he was playing, he was battling an injury and he has missed games before in the past and he might miss Thursday night. That's why I'm saying you might want to move briskly on this because he hasn't been officially ruled out. But if you add all those things combined with the fact that he's still, I believe, the number 6 wide receiver overall in PPR, again, it's about selling these players at a high. Even though he's not like super high, you can sell the name value and you could sell the fact that he's had big games and he's still well within top 10 range for receivers. So I would try to, but going back to what I was saying, you might only be able to sell him to a championship team. That's maybe, one of those teams that's like 8-2 or 7-3 or something, and they're getting ready for the playoffs, and they might think, Tyler Lockett's a good buy, even if he misses the week, because they'll have him ready for the playoffs. Somebody like that, but just make sure that you're not making that team better, and you're getting some good pieces back in return. All right. So there's my sells, and then now for my holds. Josh Jacobs had a big game against a tough Denver run defense. He has a beautiful schedule. They're going to need to rely on him. They're well in the thick of things for the playoff hunt and even, possibly a division. Doubt that. We'll see what happens this weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs, which he had a blow-up game against them as well, and they actually beat the Chiefs. So it's going to be a good one. I still think the Chiefs are going to win, but whatever. Has nothing to do with Jacobs and what he's able to do. I mean, you would like to see him more involved in the passing game. You would like to see him get more snaps, but The important thing is he's getting touches, he's getting a ton of carries, he's getting goal line work, even though, Devontae Booker's kind of been mixed in there as well. But talent over everything, and Josh Jacobs definitely has that. And going back to the schedule, Josh Jacobs, he faces the Jets, Atlanta, the Chargers, Miami. Gotta like that. Next on my whole list is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I've been kind of critical of him, and rightfully so. He's definitely not what he was last year, but he does provide a safe floor because even against these last 2 weeks where he has looked unspectacular, he's gotten at least 18 points a game. And now the rest of the way, he's got a great schedule. So if you add safe floor and you add the upside, which I don't think the upside is quite what it was last year, but it's still enough to be a top 5 quarterback the rest of the way with top 3 to 1 potential any given week, even though Kyler Murray is probably going to make that very difficult. Same with Josh Allen. Russell Wilson has slowed down, but Mahomes has been on fire as well. So he'll be in that top 5 range the rest of the way, especially given the schedule. So yeah, I like Lamar Jackson. He's got some games against Jacksonville, Cleveland, Giants, and yeah, Giants I think is like the hardest game. So get you some or hold on to Lamar Jackson. And if you get him for cheap, I would buy him as well. And then last but not least, Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is obviously somebody I've been very high on coming into the season. During the season, he's giving you a really safe floor, besides the last game, which he got injured. But I think Kenny Golladay is one of those few receivers that has league-winning potential, especially if DeAndre Swift keeps up what he's doing. Marvin Jones has played better. Hopefully Stafford can play through this current injury that he has. And Detroit's another team that's in the thick of things. I like getting players with teams that have something to play for. Not only that, I believe he's a free agent, so he's playing for a contract as well. And talent is obviously there. I'm not worried about matchups when it comes to Kenny Golladay. He just needs to be healthy. If he's healthy, he will produce. So if you have him, waited this long, or maybe you got him for cheap, or if you're able to get him for cheap like these other guys, then I would go out and do that because he is practicing and the sky's the limit. I mean, he could be the wide receiver 1 on any given week overall in fantasy. All right. So there you have it, guys. Just a quick recap. We got DeAndre Swift as my buys. We have DeAndre Swift, Mike Davis, and a.j. Brown. My sells, we have Ben Roethlisberger, Gronkowski, and Tyler Lockett. My holds, we got Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson, and Kenny Golladay. As usual, if you have any questions, comment down below. Don't forget to give me a like before you go. Much appreciated. If you're interested in premium content, comment on that as well. And like I told you guys earlier, Monkey Knife is a betting type of service where it's based on the player props, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, passing yards, all that good stuff. If you deposit money with Monkey Knife, it's your first deposit, not if you already have a 60 account, and screenshot using the promo code RAPPER, then I will help you. If you're helping me, we help each other, and I'll also include free premium content. Until next time, guys. Peace.